The single biggest fear my clients have isn't running out of money at age 90. It's the 0-year nightmare. Imagine you hand in your resignation letter at age 55. You get the cake, you walk out the door. And the very next week, the market drops 20%. Inflation spikes 9%. And the government announces a tax hike. It's the perfect storm. In fiduciary terms, we call this sequence of returns risk, and it kills more retirements than bad stock picks ever will. But today I'm going to walk you through a specific plan, a stress test where we retired a hypothetical couple at age 55 directly into the storm and show you exactly why they didn't run out of money. So let's talk about the Smiths. The Smiths are age 55, $1.5 million portfolio. Their spending goal is $70,000 a year. So let's look at the math. If they retired in a bull market like January of 2026, this is easy. A 5% withdrawal rate might even work. But we're going to simulate the 1973 scenario. Stocks crash 40%, inflation runs hot, so their $70,000 lifestyle suddenly costs $80,000, and their portfolio value is plummeting while their grocery bill is skyrocketing. Most traditional 4% rule plans fail here. The Smiths would be broke by age 72. But here's the 3-layer shield strategy we use to save them. Shield number 1, the war chest. This is your cash buffer. The first reason the Smiths survived this is they didn't sell a single share of stock while the market was down. But before they retired, they built a war chest. This is 2 years of living expenses, about $150,000 held in cash, money markets, or ultra short-term bonds. When the market crashed in year 1 and 2, where did the paycheck come from? Not from selling Apple or Microsoft at a 40% loss. It came from the war chest. This buys you time. It prevents the death spiral of selling low to pay bills. In fiduciary terms, this creates a bridge over the market valley. Shield number 2, the Guardrails dynamic withdrawal strategy. The second shield is behavioral. We don't just set it and forget it. We use guardrails. And here's the deal we made with the Smiths. If your portfolio drops by 20%, we're not going to keep spending $70,000 adjusted for inflation. We're going to trim discretionary spending. No big Europe trip this year. Maybe eat out a little less. We reduce the withdrawal by 10% temporarily. So the math, this small cut stops the bleeding. It preserves the capital so it can recover when the market bounces back. But here's the health coach reality. This gives the client control. Instead of staring at the news in panic, they have a lever to pull. I'm cutting back now so I can be safe later. This action reduces your anxiety and keeps you healthier along your retirement. Shield number 3, the tax lemonade, Roth conversions. This is the move that turns a disaster into victory. When the market is down 30%, most people hide, but the Smiths executed some Roth conversions. So think about it. If you have a share of stock worth 100 and it drops to 70, you can convert that share to a Roth IRA and only pay taxes on the $70. When the market eventually recovers, and it always usually does, that growth happens tax-free in a Roth IRA. We use the crash to buy out the government's share of their portfolio at a discount. By age 65, the Smiths had more tax-free wealth than if the market had never crashed at all. So it comes down to survival versus stress. So what happened? By using the war chest to avoid selling low, by using guardrails to trim spending during the worst years, and by aggressively converting their Roth IRA, the Smiths didn't just survive. 30 years later, the portfolio was actually larger than when they started. But the real victory wasn't the money, it was their health. Because they had a plan for their worst case, they didn't spend their first 5 years of retirement stressed out, watching CNBC in the futures and spiking their cortisol. They slept well at night. But here's the reality. You cannot predict the market. You cannot predict inflation, but you can build a plan that works even when those things go wrong. If you are within 5 years of retirement, do not rely on a fair weather plan. Stress test it against any storm. If you'd like help developing this 3-pronged strategy to make sure that your portfolio survives all the different types of market environments, to make sure you can retire comfortably and stay comfortably retired, schedule a discovery call. There'll be a link in the description of this podcast. During that discovery call, I'll find out what's important to you and find out how I can help with your long-term financial future. Also, if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, share it with a friend that's approaching retirement or that's always concerned and anxious. And once again, this is Brian, the Wealth Decisions Guy. Thanks for listening, and I hope to see you next week.